Crayon Techniques, different ways to use crayon. So they have a similarity to oil pastels with the color light and dark outline. There's a lot of similarities. Now oil pastels, what the technique that works really well for them is this beautiful blending and nice bright rich colors. But crayon has its own characteristics and techniques that you can work with. So yes, you can get a similar color light, or you can go back over it. Now it's not going to get as dark or as intense as oil pastels, so you get a different look to it. Blending, so you can blend, you can color light, and then you can blend another light on top of it, which makes for a really interesting texture also. You can also go in and color more darkly on top of that light. Doesn't make much difference. You can even go back and forth with a couple different colors if you want. And each time you get more pigment on there and you get more color. Now you can do stippling, and again, we don't want to break the crayon. Now yes, if you don't have this nice tip on it, you can still use it. You just work with the edge of the crayon. Let me see if I have one that's like that. So this one doesn't have a nice tip on it, but I'm just going to work with the edge. I don't have crayon sharpeners, so if I wanted to do dots, I don't need a point, I just need the edge. So I can do little dots like that. I can do curved, bigger dots. I could do this on top or put a color over that. And then scumbling is this movement. And again, I could do that on top of a color. I could put a color over it. I could go in and color parts of it. And that makes something very interesting also. Then there are texture plates. Oh, before I get to texture plates, Crayon Resist. So if you want to try this, you would need the tempera paints. But what you do is you get quite a bit of wax on there from the crayon, so that means coloring dark. And then I can take tempera paint and put a light coat of that over it, and the crayon, because it has wax in it, will show through. Now you notice how I painted very lightly. I barely had any paint on my brush, but I got a little bit of pink in there, and you can see how you can still see the crayon through that. That's called Crayon Resist, because the wax resists the water. Okay, texture plates. I have a variety of texture plates. The way these work is they go underneath the surface. You are going to be coloring, and then I generally kind of use the side. So notice how I'm holding my crayon not like this, but like that. And it picks up the texture. Now I can go over these with a variety of colors. I can go in different directions. Another kind of fun thing is to take the texture plate out, and then I can color in parts of this. Or I can also combine, I can use different texture plates. So here I'm switching up to a different one. I could try going back over this one with a different texture plate. So that's what these are, texture plates. Now, I kind of showed you this before, but you can use the point, and if it doesn't have a point, you're going to use the edge. So see how even on a flat crayon, I can still get a fine edge. So if I wanted to outline something and color it in, I can use the fine edge, and then I can use the flat surface, or I can use a side. And when I use the side, I get a different look to the line. Or if it has no point, I'm just using the flat surface. So don't peel the paper off of all these, just peel it off as you need to. But you can still use the top of it or the side of it. Then yeah, you can create textures and patterns. Now we've done some with texture plates, we've done some with stippling, we've done some with this coloring light and blending, but there's all sorts of other possibilities. I mean, you could draw out patterns and put them on your artwork. You could try for different sorts of textures. Maybe you don't see a texture plate that does what you want, or maybe you don't want that texture plate look, but you'd rather have something where you're creating your own texture. And then yes, you can come in and color over them, inside to parts of them. So here you have a variety of techniques for crayons.